Hey everyone, Geophysicist Stefan Burns here. We have a Category 5 hurricane off the coast of North America, but it's not in the Atlantic. Instead, it's in the Eastern Pacific. We have a super El Nino that's unfolding right now, maybe the strongest ever on record. And so we have very, very warm sea surface temperatures and also some thermal isotherms where you have these pockets of hot water at depth. Coastal measurements that, for example, the Santa Monica Pier has 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, here's Hurricane Genevieve off the west coast of Mexico, rapidly strengthened to a Category 5. It really wasn't on the map starting around July 23rd. So here's the 23rd of July, and you'll see Genevieve form out of this. So you started to get a little bit of swirling, a little bit of vorticity, not really all that much though. If we go forward, we'll see all of a sudden the tropical storm develop. Here it is. This is the 24th of July. Here's the 25th, 26th yesterday as a Category 4. And then it is now back to Category 4 after just having hit Category 5 just a few hours ago when it was nighttime for this part of the world. But this is so spectacular because, as we saw, it formed really strongly and quickly on the 23rd of July, and that is right after we had a sequence of solar flares. So we had a sunspot group formed on the sun, 4493, it passed through Earth center direct, launched off multiple M-class flares, a barrage of C-class flares, the second and third strongest categories respectively, and then we saw this rapid strengthening and creation and strengthening of Hurricane Genevieve. And here we also see Fausto still continuing on at a Category 1 level, expected to drop down to tropical storm soon to slam into the Hawaiian Islands. We can look at our messaging for this if we go to NOAA here. And this is their latest update released at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time today, July 7th. And basically they're stating that after rapidly intensifying over the past 24 to 36 hours, Genevieve impressive strengthening appears to have ended this morning. The eye remains clear with very warm temperatures above 20 degrees centigrade. However, the infrared satellite presentation is beginning to wane with cloud top temperatures below negative centigrade no longer fully wrapping around. So it's possible that there's an eye wall replacement that is occurring at this moment in time, and some fluctuations in intensity are expected. So it could re-strengthen to Category 5, it could drop down to Category 3. Eventually the storm will come to a close, but we're right now in a volatile phase, and Category 4 is nothing to sneeze at, okay? So right now it's traveling about 11 knots to the northwest, and it's being steered by a strong upper level ridge centered over the west central United States. And basically, it's going to remain in an environment with warm sea surface temperatures near 29 degrees Celsius for the next couple of days, but then it will move over some sea surface waters that are more like 26 Celsius. An easy rule of thumb for you all is that 28 degrees centigrade is 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So high 70s, low 80s off in here, the Pacific, further off the coast from Mexico. But let's look at that solar activity because I find this really, really fascinating that we see such a clear correspondence here. So here is our X-ray flux as measured by geostationary satellites at 5.6 Earth radii in space. The same satellites are giving us this imagery of this hurricane. They measure X-ray light flux from the sun, and we get these spikes due to solar flares. And so here we have the past 2 weeks. We see that we have this low phase. Look right here, starting on the 20th of July, we ramped up. Here are our M-class flares. Once you're at this category there, we're at M-class flares, boom, 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 boom. And they basically came to a close on the 23rd, as you can see. Then we still had C-class activity. That's right when this hurricane really started to strengthen. And look also, just in the past 48 hours, we've had 2 M-class flares. And so those corresponded directly with that Category 5 period. And now this current Category 4 intensity. So these solar flares have this ability to rapidly strengthen cyclones, and we've seen this many times, and also geomagnetic activity can do the same as well. here we see our current geomagnetic activity. This is our HB30 index, and we see that right now our levels are basically normal. So we're not having these big swings in Earth's magnetic field. We're only going into values here of 2, not even 3 yet. You need a level of 5 to be in a G1 geomagnetic storm, a minor storm. The scale rating goes to 9, which is a extreme storm. Big difference too in how it scales. It's not linear. So we see that our geomagnetic activity isn't crazy right now, but we can look here at our real-time solar wind and see that we have a coronal mass ejection impact that just occurred. So here is our magnetic field for the solar wind. When we see these increases suddenly in the magnetic field, that is a solar storm impact. We've been tracking this. And so we see that we're up now around 7 nanotesla. So it's not really that strong, to be honest. 5 is normal. This isn't even double strength, but we did see an increase in the speed there, going from about 360 actually, up to 405 kilometers per second. Density staying about the same, but this could strengthen. So this isn't looking too crazy, but it does have a possibility. A lot of solar storm impacts start off slow, and then 18 hours later, they get stronger. So we could be looking at some G1 geomagnetic storming, which is minor storming, for the next, sometime in the next 12 to 48 hours. It doesn't look like it's going to immediately click in anytime soon unless something surprising occurs. And then if we do get some sort of surprise solar influence, which it happens every now and then, we could be looking at a G2 storm, but unlikely to go beyond that. I think we're going to struggle to hit G1 levels with this coronal mass ejection impact that we have right here as it is. Now, the thing to point out with this solar fueled Category 5 cyclone, now Category 4, is that it is also a massive electromagnetic system, okay? So it's beyond just simply swirling and wind speeds and more. It's also lightning strikes and electrical charge. So here we see Category 4, and at some point in this, Category 5 Hurricane Genevieve, and look at all the lightning that is clustered around the edge. So we see some here in the spiral arms, a little bit in the eye wall. So, I mean, a good amount, but some cyclones really are just crackling with nonstop lightning strikes. Basically, they have a wall of plasma traveling with their eye wall. Really wild stuff. The electric potential here can build up to 100 megavolts. So the ground surface is typically neutral, that's 0. The ionosphere, the upper atmosphere, has an equipotential usually of 250 to 400,000 volts, so 250 to 400 kV. 100 MV is 100 million volts. So really powerful electric potentials. Look at how it's created this line of activity there along the coast, because you get this positive charge to accumulate as all this activity pushes outwards. Not only are the atmospheric gravity waves being generated by this structuring the electron density of the ionosphere outwards, it's also drawing positive charge up. I mean, here we see cloud activity there to the north, and we know that the water temperature up here in California is also very high, but we're not getting the lightning activity, whereas just south of Baja, they are. A bit more humidity there and a few other factors, but still we see that this lightning and electromagnetic activity, this plasma activity, heavily concentrated around this cyclone. And that's important because this is speaking to the larger electromagnetic dynamics of the Earth, the global electric circuit, and that influences earthquake activity. We see that, for example, with earthquakes, they have this positive charge that builds up, and then you get this release. They actually generate this electrostatic field emanating from the surface all the way to the ionosphere, the D region, the E region. They're able to modify those properties. So what just happened with Mexico recently? I'm glad you asked. We just had this magnitude 7.3 earthquake just slightly to the southeast of where this hurricane is. Of course, it's been moving around now, but basically that is right in that area where it was generated. I mean, let's actually really look here. Let's go back to the 23rd. It maybe formed right in that region. Yeah, basically, because the magnitude 7.3 occurred right around here. Look at that. Right off from the south of it, we get the Category 5 mega cyclone of the Pacific. So right here, this is on the 17th. So you see this very clear progression in time where on the 17th, you have a magnitude 7.3 earthquake with a huge amount of aftershocks. Okay, this is only showing significant worldwide. Let's put on our 4.5. Look at all the aftershocks there. And we can go to the oldest one here, the newest one rather, seeing that it really stopped with the magnitude 4.5 and greater on the 24th of July. So you get on the 17th of July, a giant magnitude 7.3, a huge aftershock swarm. You get the solar activity starting on the 20th, going through the 23rd, and then just right as this swarm is dying down, you get the creation of a tropical storm that turns into a Category 5 solar-fueled monster. So just pointing out how these things are interconnected, the next thing to be mindful of is that as Hurricane Genevieve continues to sweep off of the coast, it's going to send strong swell and surf all across the western coast of Mexico, Baja, California, even perhaps a little higher north, but really Southern California. And that also all loads positive charge into the ground surface and exerts a reverse piezoelectric effect on faults within the crust and more. So we could be looking at enhancement of seismic activity across California, Baja, and Mexico in general in the days ahead, though I don't think that effect itself is going to be that strong, but we do have a full moon coming up in just 2 days on the 29th, and that is part of a powerful planetary alignment with Jupiter, the Sun, Earth, Moon, and Pluto. Part of a larger basket configuration as well. So a tremendous amount happening right now. I will keep you up to date on everything and more. As of right now, this cyclone is really not a threat to anyone unless there's some boats out there and they get trapped in it. So that's good news, and it's likely to diminish out and die out before perhaps it swings back because that's not looking likely. We do here see our probability cone for 5 days provided by NOAA, and we see that it's expected to just continue going out. And they are pretty good with forecasting the direction of these cyclones and more now. So this looks like it's not really going to impact anyone, but it's a perfect case study example of the interconnectedness of the entire Earth geophysical and energy system. So I've been your host, Stefan Burns. Thank you all so much for watching. Please smash that thumbs up button to help the channel grow. Subscribe to stay up to date on everything that's happening with the Earth energetically, earthquakes, volcanoes. We have some big volcanic activity happening right now at Chevaluch. Make sure to watch my video on that. Also, solar activity, planetary alignments, severe weather, geomagnetic storms, all the stuff and more. I cover it with videos almost daily. You can check out the products that I offer at earthevolution.com/store. We do have a sale happening right now, 10% off using the code PLANETS till the end of month. Have a great full moon, and I'll see you all in the next video.